Hi, welcome back to the Tarot Genie, where you receive intuitive, insightful answers from the tarot to your burning questions about business, career, creativity, communications, entrepreneurship, personal development, spirituality, and more. Hi, I'm Laura, and this week we are going to ask the tarot, why is the practice of gratitude so important? Mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's what we're going to learn today. And as always, I'd like to share some resources. The first is a book I mentioned a few weeks ago, but I didn't have it with me at the time. And that book is The Emergency Handbook for Getting Money Fast by my spiritual mentor, Carole Dore. Now, regardless of the title, even though it says The Emergency Handbook for Getting Money Fast, and there is a focus on techniques and practices to help people get out of a financial bind. But much more important than that is her whole perspective on tapping into your spiritual power and practices and techniques that are aligned with that. And one of the most important of these is gratitude. And she has a segment on gratitude, which is so inspiring. Another book, which I'm just working my way through now, is Think and Grow Rich. Of course, that's a spin-off of the title classic book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. But what Pam Grout says in her book, or what she teaches, is a variety of practices, techniques, considerations that you can include in your life to improve your life in every possible way, physically, health-wise, and more. And so I'd recommend looking at that into both of those books, although you won't be able to find Carole's book unless it's the last time I looked, it was selling for like $1,000 a copy on Amazon. It's very hard to find, although she does have the mini version of it on her website, and you can check that out by looking at powervisiondynamics.com. But today we're going to do a 3-card reading, as always. I'm going to be asking, the tarot, now, why is the practice of gratitude so important? And what do we need to know about gratitude and how it can positively impact our lives physically or mentally, physically, and spiritually? And I'd like to say that for the past, I think, 3 or 4 years, I have been writing in a gratitude journal, and the journal is actually called Gratitude. It's a little journal specifically dedicated to the practice of gratitude. So it's separate from my other journal. And every morning, virtually every morning, I rarely miss it, I write down 3 things for which I am grateful that particular morning. And it can be the simplest things, such as the savory taste of my cup of coffee, the first sip that I enjoy every morning. That's my special ritual as I delve into my spiritual books and right after my meditation practice. So that's one thing, or it may be more significant things in my life, such as my family and friends, if something positive is developed. And even in challenges, you can be grateful for the fortitude you have or the support of family and friends. There's always something that you can find to be grateful for. As always, I'm shuffling the cards, and I will face them down once I've selected them. I'm still trying to shuffle the question in the cards. What do we need to know? What does this audience of this YouTube channel need to know about the benefits of creating a practice of gratitude? And that can come in a variety of ways. It doesn't have to be a gratitude journal, but it does have to be a way in which you acknowledge somehow consciously the blessings you have, from the tiniest blessings to the largest blessings, to the most mundane items to the most significant. All right, I've selected the 3 cards off the top, and I will reveal them one by one. At first, now mentally, what benefits can you gain from a practice of gratitude? Knight of Cups. Oh, this tarot card has been popping up for me all week. This is the 3rd time this week the Knight of Cups has popped up. Maybe because I like him a lot. He's a youthful figure, and he is moving forward on his horse in a slow, methodical way, presenting his cup. And the cups, of course, in the tarot represent feelings and emotions, passions, sentiments. And what I see when the Knight of Cups pops up in a reading, what I see him as presenting is, I see him presenting a gift. And I think what the tarot is advising us here in response to the question, why is gratitude, establishing a practice of gratitude so important to us mentally, is that when we start practicing gratitude, we're talking about doing this consistently. We're not just saying on Thanksgiving. I mean, I love Thanksgiving. I think it's a tremendous holiday, one of my favorite holidays, and it's important, of course, as a day of Thanksgiving, but we need to do this much more regularly, daily, I think. But I think what I feel the Knight of Cups is advising us is to, or saying in terms of the benefits we will have mentally, is that we're going to just feel this energy and vitality. We're going to just start operating from the heart. We're just going to mentally feel uplifted. That's what I feel. He's saying in here, he's high up on his horse. He's moving methodically across this little landscape. There's a stream up ahead. It's presenting a gift. You will experience a gift to your mindset, to your mentality, when you regularly, when you consistently, perhaps hopefully daily, as often as possible, practice gratitude. It will infuse you with deep feeling, a connection to the heart. Again, I do see the Knight of Cups as someone who presents a gift that connects others to their heart. And so if you set up a practice of gratitude, you will feel that will mentally charge your heart. There'll be a greater connection with your heart energy from your mindset. And in fact, one important tip I would advise you to remember is that, for example, when I write down in my gratitude journal, I make a point of writing in a word that conveys feelings. For example, I may say, oh, I'm so happy I was able to see my daughter today. And next to that, I will emphasize, or I'll write a word, family love, connection with family, love for daughter. There has to be some word that's going to stir up feelings. And so that's what I would advise. It is a beneficial practice as long as you remember. I think this is what the tarot is advising us right now. As long as you remember to bring in the feelings. So you can think about it, you think about what you are grateful for, and then infuse it with feelings. And it's like a perpetuating cycle. One thing will add to the other. Now the middle card is going to tell us, provide insights on physically how does a practice of gratitude benefit us. Now this is interesting, not necessarily the card I would expect, but we have the Four of Cups. And I see though, often this card is associated with someone who's a bit resistant to something. They're a little bit jaded, they're kind of standoffish, as you can tell from his hands crossed. Anytime you cross your hands, it's kind of conveying a defensive stance. But we see this little angelic hand coming out of the ethers, little clouds, and presenting a gift. And I think what I would interpret this card as saying, and we have the second card with cups and feelings, is that you are going to feel, it's going to actually, because you see here, there's something missing. It's going to fill in the gap. It's going to uplift your spirits. This individual, this young man, is looking discontent. But when you make a strategic, purposeful, or create a strategic and purposeful practice of gratitude, that missing element from your life is going to be filled up. You're going to feel something. It's going to fill the void that you may have felt, that you have been experiencing recently. I feel that the tarot is advising you, the viewer, that gratitude will help boost your spirits. It's going to fill that perhaps void, and so you're going to start opening yourself rather than being closed off. physically, so you can feel better. And finally, from a spiritual standpoint, what is the practice of gratitude? Well, wow, we have lots of cups today. Now, this does not look like, is typically not associated with being happy, being joyful. And so what is this saying? It's the Five of Cups. And interesting that we got all cups cards today. And this figure is in grief, appears to be in mourning, he or she, we can't discern if it's male or female. But this figure has experienced some type of loss, and they're mourning about it. The cups there are 3 cups that have spilled, so something has been lost. However, notice that there are 2 cups standing behind. And there's a river flowing in front of actually this individual. So there's a sense of movement. And I feel what this says in response to the question, spiritually, what will a practice of gratitude allow us to do or feel or experience, is being able to move away from focusing on loss to moving toward recognizing what we still have, the gifts and blessings we still have. I mean, that may seem obvious, but a lot of people still do get caught up in the time of mourning. It's so easy to get dragged down and just focused on everything that's been lost. But as Carole Dore often says in her book and in her teachings, we don't learn lessons specifically. She doesn't like that concept of lessons, but we get a blessing. We get a gift from any challenging situation. So if we focus deliberately on a practice of gratitude, no matter what is happening, we are going to recognize the blessings that we still have, what we still have, and that can continue to move forward with in our lives. So I would say that this 5 card, even though it appears to be an unpleasant situation where someone has experienced loss, I think what it's saying today in response to our question is that even if you've experienced losses, mourning, challenges, grief, that if you focus intently on this practice of gratitude, it has to be consistent. Really, daily is ideal, at least weekly at the least. At least weekly, sorry for that redundancy. At the least weekly, but it has to be consistent to be able to stand firm and to move forward in your life in a positive way. So in conclusion, what's interesting about this reading is that they're all cups cards. We all have cups. It's all dealing with feelings in this reading and emotions. And that's, as Carole, that's so apropos, because in her book, Carole Dore, in all her teachings, she talks about feelings creating and positive feelings. And that this does not mean Pollyanna feelings, like just trying to make, seeing everything through rose-colored glasses, but really tapping into what's most important in life and recognizing the blessings that are there. That she emphasizes over and over again. And I would say that the tarot is advising us this today, that if we have established a practice of gratitude, we're going to be giving ourselves a mental gift that's going to feed on itself and perpetuate. It's going to allow us physically to fill the void. Maybe we've had our head hung over, but we're going to be uplifted once we recognize everything that we have. And once we start acknowledging the gifts and the blessings we have, more of them will come, as indicated by this little angelic hand. And finally, it will allow us to move through challenging experiences, move through losses, and still be able to stand back up and move forward with what is going well in our lives. We don't want to get stuck. We do have to acknowledge our losses, yes, but we don't want to just stay there. We want to be able to move forward and recognize there is something that we still have to sustain us. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you all have not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I do welcome your comments, And next week, we're going to tackle the question of how to have a work-life balance. Until next time.